Greetings YouTube and welcome to the first pickup video of 2018. So yeah, today I'll be showing you quite a few games and the games console that I've picked up, and I shall reveal you the console once I get to it. So here we go. The first game which I got for the PS4 is The Witcher 3. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic game. It's been a game that's been on my radar for some time. I was waiting for the price for it to come down, cause for a while this game was like over 40 quid. Managed to pick this up for £25 in game, or was it 20? Either way, I can't remember. Either way, money worth spent because this is one of the best games that I have played this generation. If you've not played The Witcher 3, it's a game that I think you'll enjoy. If you like these like open world games. I don't want to spoil it too much for people who've not played this, because there is a lot. There is a lot in this game. So yeah, The Witcher 3 for the PlayStation 4, fantastic game. Now we've got 3 PlayStation 1 games. The first game is Alone in the Dark, A New Nightmare. I've heard this is supposed to be one of the best horror games on the PlayStation 1. Yeah, this game also had a PS2 release and a Dreamcast release as well. From 2001, this game is. I've not yet played it, but from what gameplay I've seen and from what people have said, it looks right up my street. I like the old horror games on the PlayStation 1, like the Resident Evils, Silent Hill, so I'm sure I'll enjoy this one. So yeah, that is Alone in the Dark, A New Nightmare. The next 2 games for the PS1 to complete the series anyway, we've got Tomb Raider: The Last Revelation and Tomb Raider Chronicles. All games are complete, so you know what? I absolutely enjoyed the Tomb Raider games on the PlayStation 1, even if Tomb Raider 3 frustrated the hell out of me. So you know what? I needed to get The Last Revelation and Chronicles. I played Chronicles when I was a kid, however, because I had my PlayStation 1 chip back in the day, I played a pirated copy of it and enjoyed it quite a bit. As for Last Revelation, I had this on the Dreamcast. Unfortunately, I sold the Dreamcast a while ago. So I thought, you know what, I've got to give The Last Revelation another chance, and it's a very good Tomb Raider game. I'll still argue that Tomb Raider 2 is the best Tomb Raider game made, but that's just my opinion. So there we go. Now we're on to Nintendo GameCube, so I've got 3 games for it. The first game is a game I already have on my PlayStation 2, and it was in my top 10 PS2 video if you've not seen it. But I thought, you know what, I better check out the GameCube version because I've heard it was just as good. And I played on the Friends GameCube, and I was impressed. I was surprised at how well it was on that console. And that is SSX Tricky, the best snowboard game ever made, in my opinion. And you know what? The GameCube version plays fantastic, you know. I mean, for me, I'll have more nostalgia for the PS2 version because that was one of the first games I got for that console. So, yeah, the GameCube version is very faithful. So, you know, quality game. So, yeah, SSX Tricky. And because I got SSX Tricky, I decided to get SSX On Tour, which I had this game back in the day on the original Xbox, but I mean, I don't have an Xbox anymore, so, you know, I thought I'd buy the GameCube version. Yeah, the reason why I bought the GameCube version is because you can play some of the Mario characters on there. So yeah, you can do skills and shit with Mario. you know. But I didn't. But I didn't buy it for that. I thought I'd buy some more GameCube games. Haven't got that many, so I think this would be a good game to add. So yeah, that is SSX On Tour. Great game. The third and last game I got for the GameCube is a launch title, and that is Waverace Blue Storm. I absolutely loved the one on the Nintendo 64, Waverace 64. A game, believe it or not, I did have a Nintendo 64. However, it was one of those games I actually didn't own on it. The only reason how and why I got to play I can't even get me words out properly today. Waverace 64 is because one of my friends had a Nintendo 64 and I used to play it on there. And you know what? This is a very good game, very addictive if you like water sports games. So you know what? I thought I'd give this a go. Fantastic purchase. It's not too expensive. In fact, it's quite cheap. So if you see a copy of this game and you're into water sports, get this game because it's great. So that's that. Now we're on to the surprise, the console that I've purchased myself. It's an old school game console. A console that, believe it or not, I've played on once. One of my neighbours had this console back in the 90s. So, you know what? I thought I'd get myself one of these consoles and I shall reveal it to you. Dun dun dun. It is, of course, I got myself a Sega Saturn, and this is the Model 1 Saturn. And you know what? This console, very, very underrated. It doesn't get enough love. And out of the 32-bit systems, this unfortunately didn't sell too well. But despite that, a very fantastic console. I still think the PlayStation is the better console. But, the Saturn is absolutely incredible. So, yeah. So we got a Sega Saturn. And, of course, we got some games for it. We got some games. 4 games to be exact. So, yeah, the first game we have got is Daytona USA. An absolute classic in the arcade. And the Saturn version is very faithful, and it is a really addictive game. It's not. I didn't find this game too difficult, but it wasn't easy either. But for a Saturn game, it's really good. So yeah, that is Daytona USA. Second game, which is Nights into Dreams. Yeah, it's made by Sonic Team, and let me tell you, this is one of the best games. Probably the best game I've actually got on the Saturn so far. The price of this game is actually quite expensive, But I thought, you know what, I'll buy this game before the price goes up. So yeah. The only thing I do not like about the Sega Saturn cases, which I'm sure those who've owned a PAL Sega Saturn will know how flimsy the boxes are. I know a lot of the boxes are made out of cardboard, and I have to open it very carefully, because if you open it normally like you would a normal game case, the disc and everything will come flying off. Yeah, because the Saturn does not hold discs very well, so you have to be very delicate when opening them. But apart from that, I'm really enjoying the console, and this is probably the best game I've got on this so far. So, yeah, that's Nights into Dreams. Third is a game I have on the PlayStation 1, and believe it or not, it was in my top 15 PS1 game video, and that is Rayman. It plays exactly the same as the PS1 version. There are some level altercations where the backgrounds on some levels look completely different. Yeah, some of the levels backgrounds are different, and the layout on a couple of levels are slightly different as well. Like on the Picture City level, and like the PS1 game, this is absolutely brutal. It is a very difficult game. Apart from that, it's pretty much the same as the PlayStation 1 version. But one thing is, the loading times are a hell of a lot faster. And let me tell you, the Sega Saturn handles 2D games really well. Yeah, the 3D games are good on there, but apparently, programming games for the Saturn was really difficult for whatever reason. But yeah, this is Rayman for the Saturn. And last but not least, the game that made me buy a Saturn, believe it or not, Sega Rally. Obviously, you can't have a Sega Saturn without Sega Rally. And you know, Sega Rally was one of my favorite arcade games growing up. I used to go to the arcade playing this. And the other one, Sega Rally 2, which was incredible. And let me tell you, this is arcade perfect. Or at least I think it is anyway. Well, you know what? I know I don't have to explain what Sega Rally is, but you know, I really like the cars that are in this. Even though there's only two cars, the Toyota Celica and the Lancia Delta. The good cars. My favorite car is the Toyota. It is so nice, beautiful. So yeah, this is Sega Rally for the Sega Saturn. And that shall be it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall see you very soon. Take care.